Most people believe success comes from talent, intelligence, or luck. But in reality, the difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is often something much simpler. Discipline. Discipline is the quiet force that shapes success over time. Unfortunately, most people struggle with it. They start with excitement, but slowly lose consistency. They promise themselves change, but habits pull them back into the same routine. Let me explain this with a simple story. A young man once decided he wanted to improve his life. He wanted to become stronger, smarter, and more successful. On the first day, he woke up early. He exercised. He read a book. He planned his day carefully. At the end of the day, he felt proud of himself. He believed his life had finally changed. But on the second day, things felt harder. His alarm rang early in the morning, but his bed felt comfortable. His mind began creating excuses. I can start tomorrow. Just one more hour of sleep. That morning, he ignored the alarm. Later that day, he promised himself he would restart the next day. But the next day became next week. Next week became next month. And slowly his motivation disappeared. This is where most people fail. Not because they lack ability, but because they rely on motivation instead of discipline. Motivation is temporary. Discipline is consistent. Motivation feels exciting at the beginning, but discipline continues even when excitement disappears. Successful people understand this difference. They do not wait until they feel motivated. They act even when they do not feel like it. This is the real psychology behind discipline. Your brain naturally seeks comfort. It prefers easy choices, comfortable routines, immediate rewards. But growth requires the opposite. Growth requires effort, patience, and delayed rewards. That is why discipline feels difficult at first. It forces you to move against your brain's natural preference for comfort. But something interesting happens when a person continues anyway. When someone repeats disciplined actions every day, their brain slowly adapts. The action that once felt difficult becomes normal. The resistance begins to disappear. For example, imagine someone who decides to start exercising every morning. During the first week, it feels uncomfortable. Their body feels tired. Their mind searches for excuses. But if they continue for several weeks, something changes. The routine becomes familiar. The body becomes stronger. The habit becomes automatic. This is how discipline slowly turns into identity. The person no longer says, I try to exercise. Instead, they say, I am someone who exercises. This small shift in identity creates powerful results. Disciplined people build their lives around routines. They create simple systems that guide their daily behavior. They do not depend on emotions. They depend on structure. For example, a writer does not wait for inspiration. They write every day. A musician does not wait for motivation. They practice regularly. A successful entrepreneur does not wait until they feel ready. They continue working even when progress feels slow. Another reason discipline is so powerful is because it compounds over time. Small, consistent actions eventually produce large results. Reading 10 pages a day might not seem impressive, but after 1 year, that becomes several books. Saving a small amount of money every day might not feel significant, but after many months, it creates financial stability. Practicing a skill for 1 hour daily may feel slow, but after several years, it creates mastery. Discipline quietly multiplies effort. And this is why disciplined people often appear successful later in life. While others chase short bursts of motivation, disciplined individuals build long-term habits. Those habits slowly separate them from the majority. There is also another psychological benefit to discipline. It strengthens self-trust. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, You increase confidence in your ability to follow through. If you say you will wake up early and you actually wake up early, you prove something to yourself. You prove that your words have value, that your commitments matter. Over time, this builds powerful self-belief. But the opposite is also true. When someone repeatedly breaks promises to themselves, they slowly weaken their confidence. They stop trusting their own intentions. They begin believing that change is impossible. This is why discipline is not only about productivity. It is about identity. Disciplined actions slowly shape how you see yourself. They build a stronger internal character. Another important aspect of discipline is delayed gratification. Most people prefer immediate rewards. They want results quickly. They want comfort now. But discipline trains the mind to wait, to work today for benefits that appear later. This ability to delay gratification is one of the strongest predictors of long-term success. People who can control their impulses tend to make better decisions. They think about consequences. They focus on the future. They choose actions that create long-term benefits instead of temporary comfort. In contrast, impulsive decisions often lead to regret. Short-term pleasure can destroy long-term progress. That is why discipline requires awareness. You must recognize when your mind is searching for the easiest path, and you must consciously choose the better path instead. This choice becomes easier with practice. The more you exercise discipline, the stronger your self-control becomes. It works like a muscle. At first it feels weak, but with repetition it grows stronger. Eventually, disciplined behavior becomes natural. In the end, discipline is not about forcing yourself to suffer. It is about building a system that supports your future. It is about making small decisions every day that lead toward growth instead of comfort. Most people fail because they expect change to happen quickly. They want immediate transformation. But disciplined people understand that success is built slowly, through consistent effort, through patience, through daily actions repeated over time. And while others wait for motivation to appear, disciplined individuals quietly continue the work, day after day, step by step, until eventually the results speak for themselves.